Healing Train. I am your conductor and your coach, B.Von Squires. And today we are sponsored by Spirit Source Connection. I am just so thrilled to be able to bring you another episode of the Healing Train, where ordinary people tell their stories of extraordinary achievement so that you can see that you are not alone. No matter where you are in your journey, there's someone that has been there, that has found their way through, and has been able to go on and achieve some really extraordinary things in their lives. And so today we have a passenger, and her name is Tabby Cain. And I tell you what, she's locally here in the Roanoke area, and I met her a couple of months back at a healing expo. I'm telling you what, her energy is off the chart. This lady, let me tell you, she has a master's in metaphysics. She is a master certified energy therapist. She is a Reiki healer. She tunes forks, for goodness sakes, access bars, and she does it all. So with that, please give Miss Tabby Cain a warm welcome. And Tabby, can you please come on and say a few words to the people today?
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being able to share my story, and it's something I thoroughly enjoy. I think that people think that you have to have some extraordinary gift that nobody else has sometimes to be on this path. And I think people sometimes think that it's kind of a one and done, right? I went through a rough time, I healed, I'm all better, and here we go. And that's not always the case either. So if you'd like, I'll just jump right in and start sharing kind of how this whole thing started and where it looks like it's headed right now.
Please, we can't wait.
So I think like a lot of stories begin, a lot of times it comes from either a traumatic event in our lives or a turning point in our lives where we suddenly realize that we have no idea who we are, what our values are, what we stand for, and what's important in our life. And that's very much what happened with me. So my kids were getting older. I only had one child left in the house. I have 3 kids, right? Very typical standard background. Worked in corporate America, had, a very wide background of professional skills, if you will, but had a family of 3, was raising my kids, doing the daily grind. And as my kids started getting older, had one left at home. Things weren't great at home, and I don't like to focus on that aspect, but things weren't great at home, and came to this point where I realized I had no idea who I was, what I enjoyed, what was important to me, what I was passionate about. I was somebody's mom, somebody's boss, somebody's wife, but I was very rarely ever me, right? I wasn't Tabby, and I never had those. I didn't even take the time to discover what those things were that I enjoyed. And so I found myself at a crossroads where I'm now single, I'm a single mom, I'm raising the last one out of the house. And what am I going to do? I've only got 2 years left. And where's my time going to go? What am I going to spend that on? And, like very many people, I was scrolling through Facebook and found a master class for free. And if you've been in the energy world for 2 minutes, you've probably heard of Donna Eden. And that was the master class that I found. And so that was how I started down this path. And things just really started rolling for me. And I decided to start with healing touch. That was the first modality that I learned. And when I went to the class and I'm sitting there kind of just anxiously listening and trying to figure out what I'm even doing here, it doesn't make sense. I don't know the verbiage, but you got to jump in somewhere.
Yeah.
And the first time I laid my hands on somebody and I kind of closed my eyes and I opened an eye and I was like to the instructor, am I supposed to say what I'm feeling here? And the woman's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, as soon as I put my hands on her, I felt my calves constrict. So I'm not sure what that means, but I'm feeling this constriction. And the woman kind of whipped around and she's like, I've been wearing compression socks for the last 2 weeks. And I was hooked from there, right? I know I am on my path. This is my calling. And I'm supposed to be an energy healer. And that's where it started. And it went from there. And I just dived so deeply in, got my master's in metaphysical sciences, got my uh, I think I have 12 different modalities now. I don't even know, it's hard to keep count, but just fell in love with the whole process. And now, today have even opened up a healing center. But I'd like to share another part of my journey, because I think that as we kind of delve into the spiritual realm, things can get a little strange. Things can get a little crazy. We start like getting information and we don't know where it's coming from, right? And am I crazy, right? That's the next step of the path. And am I crazy? Can I share these things? And what are people going to think of me, right? That judgment thing. And I've gone through that on several different occasions. One of them is when my soul language or my light language was downloaded to me, and I started speaking in tongues. And I was like, they're going to put me away for sure. There's nobody going to understand or accept this. And it took a long time for me to work through that aspect of feeling confident in myself and being able to share that. So yeah, we go through the beginning stages of what we'd like to refer to as an awakening, but there's multiple steps that we're kind of challenged with through the process, where we have to overcome our egoic self and trust that Source is giving us exactly what we need and what we're supposed to be sharing with the world.
Oh my God, that sounds so amazing. I went through the same thing, getting the downloads and the information and saying, oh my goodness, who can I even tell that this is happening to me? Who can I even explain this to? And how do I even explain it? And so I'm really happy to hear you say that, because I'm sure there's someone out here that is going through the same thing, that feels crazy, feels like they're alone and they don't know what to do. And so now we're able to show them that no, you're not alone, number one. And number two, you're certainly not crazy. And so,
Yeah.
Tabby, once you started learning these gifts and all of these different modalities, how do you take care of your personal energy when you are engaging with so many different energies around?
Well, the downside of being more sensitive is that you are more sensitive, right? So first of all, making sure that you're grounding, clearing, and protecting yourself. And what you did yesterday might not be enough today, and continuing to buff up those skills and learn new things, new levels of protection and clearing, I think is a very important step, especially for empaths. And a lot of people who are going down this path do have those empathic abilities, even if they don't even recognize it in themselves yet. So
Sure.
that would be number one, is making sure that you are protected. I think number two is finding a like-minded group of people to be with, right? Because it can be very isolating and lonely when you start down this path and you're like, I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what this means. And again, having like that fear of speaking to people and, talking to somebody who's not going through this and hasn't experienced it, it's very intimidating. And they don't understand because it doesn't make logical sense. You can't touch it, feel it, taste it, right? Well, sort of you can, but not in the traditional senses. So having a community to support you, I think, is so, so important. Um, Somebody to go, yeah, I've experienced that too, or this is what it looks like for me, because these experiences are different for each one of us. We each have a different set of clairs, the abilities that we use to bring this information in. So you may see something, I may hear it or feel it, and we all have these different ways of processing. But knowing, learning, and understanding these ways, I think, is the most important way to help ourselves learn and grow and feel safe, so that we can have a firm base to grow from and continue to expand.
Oh my goodness. I really like the fact that you said finding like minded people. And what I understand about that is, we do have differences as individuals, okay? Our hair might be different, our skin might be different, but underneath that, we are all the same. We all have a mind, a body, a soul. We all want to be loved, heard, and accepted. I tell you what, Tabby, last weekend you had a African dance session at your community now center that I participated in, and it was amazing. Oh my
It
goodness.
was it was so much fun, and it was It was our first event, so it was special in that way anyways. But for me, I'm not sure. I think it was the combination of the dance and the drumming. It hit my soul. I had never done anything like that before. It was completely out of my comfort zone. I was anxious to have movement in front of other people until those drums started. And then I was like, nope, this is me and I'm going. And oh my word, it was amazing. But that's how we learn and grow, right? We put ourselves in those uncomfortable positions and we trust that the people that are there with us, and that's where the like-mindedness comes in,
Yeah,
right? Are open to the experience for themselves and to allow you to have the experience that you're going to have in whatever way that looks. And so being in that atmosphere with those people, yourself included, was so it was a life-changing experience for me. I now have a depth of understanding of this the way the music can affect your life, right? Which I had never had before. I know that frequency is important, but it's not something that had touched my soul in that way. And so, I'm so proud of me for stepping out of my comfort zone and doing something that I wasn't really sure about. And it's okay to pat yourself on the back and say, yay, me, I did something great, right?
oh
Nothing
my,
wrong with that. And
absolutely.
it was amazing. I'm
Yes,
glad
I
you.
looked over and I saw you, and you were just in it, just feeling it. Everybody was just moving, and I was just like in awe. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I have learned not to judge a book by its cover, because I would have missed out on that opportunity and many other opportunities in life. You understand? And
Absolutely.
so and so being able to have that experience, that I had never had that experience before either. Now I've been in drum circles, but not in some where there was an actual dance that we learned, and all of that. It was just remarkable, and I can't wait for your next event. You want to tell the community about your Community Now organization that's going on here locally in Roanoke?
Absolutely. So we just June 1st opened One Community Now. I have two business partners, Patrice Freeland and Rob Arana. And we opened it because we're coming to a place in the world where we really need to stop putting each other in all of these segregation boxes, right? Based on a mirage of different things and start coming together as one community, one group of people. And again, like you said, it doesn't matter what your hair color is, your eye color is, your skin color is, what your sexual preferences are, any of those things. We do not need to see eye to eye on everything in order to walk heart to heart together. And I think that's the most important part that we're missing as a society, is that if you look, act, talk, whatever, differently than I do, then I need to be afraid of that. And I can't be open to, allowing you to be a part of my life because you're going to bring something in that's scary. Instead of saying, I don't understand what this, that, or the other thing is. Can you explain to me? And removing that fear, having open conversations and starting dialogues about things. People are afraid to do that right now. I think there's this fear that I'm going to look ignorant if I have to ask a question. And the truth is that we're ignorant when we don't ask the question and we don't open our minds and our hearts and our souls to the people that are around us, because we are missing out on so much. And that's what the center is about, right? So we have treatment rooms where they'll be offered a variety of different modalities. We have 8 different treatment rooms, and we have the nice community room where we can do gatherings and do classes and dance and sing and talk and whatever that looks like. But really, the important piece behind this community center is that we need to be one community, and the time to do it is right now. And I think it's so vitally important to the whole collective at this point that we stop focusing on our differences and start focusing on our likenesses, and letting people be who they are. And I don't think we do enough of that.
Wow, that is so powerful. Thank you so much for that. I think for me, my drawback or my barrier was thinking I was supposed to know things that I didn't know. Like I think that everyone expected me to know. And so then I was afraid to ask because then it seems like, ooh, I don't know this. I feel like I'm supposed to know this, so I'll just not ask and not know it. Well, that doesn't work either. You know what I'm saying? At some point, we have to find the courage to say, you know what? I'm going to step out on some faith. I'm going to step out on a limb. I'm going to put myself in a situation that I know is safe, number one, but that I have not been in before so that I can learn something new. I'm one of those kinds of people that are always trying to find out something new, always trying to learn something new. And that's just like this with the healing train, something new. I just knew that people needed to have an opportunity to identify with ordinary people who have had struggles and who have gone on to do extraordinary things. And Tabby, you definitely meet that mark. And I'm really excited to know you and about all of the upcoming things that are happening in the Roanoke Valley. And so, people who are local, I want you to know that the Wana Community Now Center is located at 816 Franklin Road Southwest here in Roanoke, Virginia. And if you haven't heard about it, get on out there. They have a website that you can go to. Tabby, will you please tell the people what your website address is?
Absolutely. It's onecommunitynow.net. And you can also find us on Facebook at One Community Now, B as in boy, M as in Mary, S as in Sam, or Body, Mind, Soul, as well, which was where we have all of our events housed so that you can see what's coming up. Like I said, we only opened June 1st, but you're going to see that calendar start to fill up really quickly. The community needs this now more than ever, and people are really coming out and starting to support. And I'm looking forward to building class schedules and getting more practitioners in to use the rooms so that we can share our gifts, our talents, and our information.
Oh my goodness, that is so awesome. Thank you so much for coming on here today and sharing your story. Now, if there is someone in our audience, which I know there is someone in our audience, if you had one message of hope to give them, to leave them with today, what would it be? What would you say to that person?
I think the most important thing to understand as you're moving towards um, experiencing yourself and the world around you is that you are not alone. There is always somebody who, if you're willing to reach your hand out, will reach back and help you along the way. It's finding the courage, and that's exactly what it is. It's courage to step out from the norms of society, if you will, and explore who you are and what's important to you. And you're going to find along the way, there are things that are not for you, and that is okay. But you're going to find a few things and a few people that you really resonate with and bring you joy. But you got to have that first step of courage to step out and do it and know that you are not alone. You will always have support if you're willing to ask for it.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that. There you go, folks. You know, you have the hope of that Tabby just gave you today. You have all this wonderful information that says, hey, if you are on a spiritual journey and you are having your awakening, do not be afraid. What you are going through is normal. You have places that you can reach out. You can reach out to Tabby. You can reach out to us here at Spirit Source Connection by dialing 317-721-4315, or you can meet us here at the website, which is www.spiritsourceconnection.com. Or one more thing, you could email me at b.vonsquires@gmail.com. And so now, as we're moving through, there is just one last thing that that I would like to say. Having spiritual gifts, okay, having spiritual gifts is not anything negative. Even though there may be people in your family that may not even have these gifts, you are not a unicorn, you know, in a bad kind of way, but you are a special magical unicorn in a great kind of way. And so I don't want you to hide your light. I want you to let your light shine bright And if anyone wonders why your light is shining bright, don't be afraid to tell them that you're having a spiritual experience, because everyone needs to know that spiritual experiences are not limited to just you. They're not limited at all, and we can have more than one of them during the course of our lives. And so I'm just really happy to come alongside of you today, Tabby and I, to support you in your journey, to support you in your awakening. And so if you have any questions, please make sure that you reach out to us, and we will look forward to hearing from you in those times. And so as we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, Tabby, is there any last thing that you'd like to say today?
Well, we talked a lot about local support, but I just wanted to let folks know that I do have an international business, that I see people over Zoom. I can do healings, coachings, whatever is necessary. And I do offer 15-minute free consultations. You can find me on the onecommunitynow.net page. And feel free to reach out and let's talk, and let's get you community where you're at. Just because you're not local to Roanoke doesn't mean that you don't deserve the same level of support, and that's what we're here for. So, good luck to everybody. Hold on tight. It's going to be a wild ride, and I'm really glad you're on it with us.
Okay, that is so wonderful. All right, guys, you heard it here. You are in the right place at the right time to receive your healing right here on the Healing Train. And we'll look forward to the next ride. And until then, be safe, be loved, and know that we care so much about you and your process. We'll see you again next time. Bye bye.